He's always trying to, improve the scope of the different venues that the event take place in. And as a fighter, you want to fight in nice venues like this, so I think he doesn't leave any stone unturned, but ultimately it's all about the fights, and the fights keep getting better and better on this show. We've got 6 fights tonight ourselves on the card, and honestly, they're all 50-50 fights. I can't look at that card and see a fight where I go, that guy's definitely going to win.
I mean, I'm looking at all these notes that I've got, and there's just so many talented individuals with so many great stories too, right? Fighting. From my short experience in the game, you meet the most incredible people from all walks of life. I mean, we've got people from India, from Bangladesh, obviously English, Spanish, Italian. I mean, this is one of the most international fight cards that we've had so far. Danny, what's it like for you to see shows like Kingdom and like I said, the international scale that we're doing, the venues that we're doing, compared to like what it was like for you when you were coming up as an amateur?
It wasn't as broad as what it is now, for sure. And I think with that being said, it adds to a secondary element. Obviously, MMA as a sport is always constantly evolving. We're starting to see these new young athletes come into the game and just have a better foundation for what it is that they want to do and what they, reaching their goals and attaining their dreams. And like I say, it speaks levels for Kingdom itself. I'm a very close friend with the owner, Gav, and like I say, the way that he's been able to orchestrate it, and he's a bit of a perfectionist himself. And I think that alone, again, alongside the matchmaking, is what makes a show exciting, what makes an organization blow up. And that's something which now has created a bit of a storm around Kingdom, where a lot of eyes are watching, a lot of people wanted to see some good things come from it, and again, he's providing every single time. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Should we get stuck into the fights?
Let's go.
So the main event, we have Jabid Rahman versus Yadwinger Singh. So do you know a bit about Jabid?
Trained with Jabid a lot over the years. Very, very technical. All the guys from Strike Kings are. Obviously, he's under the tutelage of 2 of my good friends, Callum and Tom Mullen. So I have a lot of time for them guys and that team, and I expect a lot from Jabid tonight.
Yeah, I spoke to him briefly, and he was talking about the honour there is for him to headline such a big card, right? From what I've seen, he's a very good striker. Obviously, the guys from Strike Kings obviously all are, but he's got some really nice, smooth transitions when he level changes too, which I think is great. And, you got Yadwinger Singh coming from India, trains out of Bali MMA, but he's also a fantastic talent. I mean, this guy has fought on some of the biggest shows. He's fought on Brave. And one thing that I really found interesting for him was, I was speaking to him about what's it like for you. You've traveled all over. Coming to Liverpool is a bit different, right? And for him, it was the prestige to come to Liverpool, to know that Liverpool's got such a rich history in combat sports culture. For him, he knows it's not an easy place to come to, but this is why he's taking the fight. He's really up for a challenge. And, you guys know yourself, like coming into Liverpool is a hostile environment sometimes if you're not from here. I mean, perfect more than anyone else. Right? Yeah, exactly. But even, what's it like for you? I mean, you've fought all over in away day situations, if you like. What's it like for you coming into a place where your territory isn't kind of known?
Again, well, obviously, for me, myself personally, this has become my grassroots. But within that, like you turn around to say, Liverpool is got a deep fighting history. And I think with that, it puts a lot of pressure on anyone on the outside coming in. But for me, personally, I like to rise to the occasion and always have done. So I think that can play into the factor to be able to help get the wind under your sails.
Do you think there's more pressure sometimes on the home fighter having someone come in from a different country or a different city to kind of almost hold their ground of their city, as opposed to not letting the outside guy come in, or does that not really factor into it?
I mean, I like being the outside guy coming in and having less pressure on me, definitely. I think when you're fighting more locally, you've got to, push tickets more, and just little things logistically. It's easy being that guy who's from out of the way, who's just saying enough to get it on.
Yeah, but you have more or less nothing to lose, you say, and in that sense, it's just you don't have the external pressures like Dean says. You don't have other people watching. You don't have, the fact that you have all these different elements that you factor in to be able to make sure that you're going out there and you're doing yourself proud and getting the job done. So I think that's definitely a dynamic to look at for sure.
Do you think that pressure, being the home fighter, is something that kind of can get to fighters? Do you think it kind of builds up knowing that, there's this expectation, like you said, to sell tickets and to really, show it all? Like, do you think that pressure is different no matter where you are in your career, whether that's like you're starting off as an amateur or as a professional?
I think it's one of them things, you get better at dealing with it as you move through your career, and you become more experienced and you learn to deal with the little bits of adversity that you get in a fight camp. So it's something that's malleable. It gets better, and things can make it worse as well, how you handle pressure. So, you know, I've seen guys not perform because of external things before, definitely.
The co-main event, not the co-main event, sorry, Giacomo Musciense versus Oliver Tero, the third last fight. I mean, Oliver Tero, what a phenomenal talent he is coming out of the UK. This is his second professional fight. He made his professional debut on our last show, Kingdom 6, and just tore Warren Lopez apart. I mean, he was just so clinical. He took his time, but he was just so efficient in what he did. And I just think Oliver Tero is one of these guys, you know, training at Subzone, one of the most, you know, successful gyms at the moment. I think Subzone actually were 5-5 on their last show, so you guys have got 6-6 to go this time to probably to match it. But it's such a great gym, you know. There's Cam Atakuru, what a fantastic coach. And what I really love about the gym is the different styles that these guys come into, but they just blend it all together. They really show. Yeah, exactly. And you know, Musciense, he's an Italian fighting out Suarez system in Spain, so he's also someone that, you know, has recognized that he needs to leave his environment to kind of better himself. You know, Spain and Italy are still countries that are kind of coming up in the MMA scene. We're seeing, you know, the likes of obviously Soporia, who's really bringing Spanish MMA up. And again, you know, it's his first time in England, and he's just here for an amazing experience. I think it's really interesting to know that we have shows not only in the UK but in Europe where you have these facilities to bring in fighters from all over, because ultimately it helps the sport grow, right? This is what you want as an amateur or as an early pro. You want to be able to test yourself against loads of different internationals, because that's the experience that helps build you into being a great fighter. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I remember the days, obviously, like the time I said, we wasn't well endowed like they have it now, locally and, you know, just nationally on the scene. And we're in a position where, even like myself, coming up through the ranks, it was getting in international names on the CV was what you wanted. You know, is it being able to have them little bits of a test, and just being able to see how dynamic you could take, you know, your skill set and your performances. So getting them names on the list, and being able to move onwards and upwards from there is definitely a big prerogative for a lot of the fighters that are coming in this tonight.
Dean, talk to me about Scott Johnson. So he's got a tough fight today against David Hidalgo. Scott's had, you know, a bit of a tough start to his professional career, would you say? 2-3. He's kind of still figuring it all out. What can you tell me about Scott coming into this fight?
Look, I'd say Scott's really talented. He puts things together really well. I love how he can chain his wrestling. Yeah, so I think, you know, Scott's one of them guys who's super technical. He's really highly skilled. I love how he can chain his wrestling together. I say he's had some decent fights so far in his pro career, but he hasn't always got the wins. And I think sometimes his conditioning's maybe what's held him back a little bit from getting the W. So I'm hoping tonight he's got enough in the tank, because I know David Hidalgo's a guy who's got a lot of grit, and he showed that against Luke Burns in his last fight. So I think this is going to be a battle of wills between him and Scott tonight, and, you know, hopefully Scott's going to come out on top.
I think what's really special is him sharing the card with his brother John, right? So John's kind of following in his brother's footsteps that he was a few years ago. John's fighting for his first amateur title. What's it like to see that bond between the brothers in the gym, and how do you think that can benefit them tonight?
Yeah, well, obviously they come as a pair, don't they, the Johnos, and I've been around them for a long time, since you know, maybe like 9 years ago or something, 8 years ago, since first started training with them. So they've definitely been around the sport for a long time, and they certainly bounce off each other. They do a lot of training together. They're a similar size, so they get to spar each other a lot. They get to. It must be nice for them anyway. I don't know what it feels like, but I'm sure.
About to say that it's one of them situations that I've obviously been in the game, and I think it'd be nice to have that sibling kind of. Also, at the better times, it can be a very lonely place. So to be able to bounce off of someone who's going through the same ups and downs as you, the highs and lows, it would be nice to be able to share that journey, for sure.
And also, I mean, I had a little brother as well. The fact that you can kind of essentially beat each other up, but do it as a sport is also. I can imagine there's that good sibling rivalry that goes on there. The amateur super lightweight title between Anthony McGovern and Gratcher Jones. I'm going to pass over to you for Anthony, because Anthony, you know, he's such a talent, but you've worked with him closely recently, haven't you?
But we had a lot of people do know about it. We had Michael Johnson come over for some seminars and come over to see me at the start of the week, and we ended up catching up with Anthony and Gav. Anthony's coming out to the States. He's going to be out there with me in May. He's going to start training camps out there, and he is a young, affluent individual. If I'm completely honest, I can just see, you know, you normally have that telltale sign of when you're able to register and look at someone in the eyes, and he's one of these young talents that I'm telling you, he's not going to get distracted. He's not going to, you know, alter from this path of where he's going to go, his destination. and I feel like he's got all the ingredients to be something special.
I remember he's got a 100% finish rate. I think it was really interesting actually seeing him in that seminar.
Yeah.
Because this was, during fight week.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of fighters like to keep themselves not kind of really do too much, but it just shows the type of person he is, right? He's always trying to learn. He's always trying to improve. He looked fantastic in his last fight against Eve. And I think that, the sky's the limit for this kid. He really is one of the biggest prospects at the moment in the amateur scene. I don't think it'll be long before we probably see him at professional, probably maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe less. But he's got a good fight in Gracio Jones. He's another wrestling-based kid. He fought Jordan Rutherford for the FCC belt at welterweight. So it'll be interesting to see how Gracio does with that extra bit of the cut. But I think what's really interesting with Anthony is what he said is, he's not really got to show his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu. He's finished all of his guys pretty much on the feet. So I think we can expect to see a bit more of his wrestling in this fight, which would be good. He's such a well-rounded person. But, I mean, ultimately, he's just got those stone hands, hasn't he? Sometimes you just fall in love with connecting, and that's just what it does. Our European welterweight title between Jack McLeod and Dorian Jimenez. We've seen Dorian on the show before, at the Nations Collab, where you guys had a lot of guys on. What did you see from Dorian when you were there?
That was his fight against Billy McLeod, if I'm right. Yeah, he just seemed like one of them guys who'll just keep coming forward. Billy hit him with some big shots that fight.
It was a fantastic fight. It was one of the fights.
So again, I just think resilience is one of the biggest skills any fighter can have, especially when you're going into these title fights, the extra rounds, making that extra pound on the weight. It all comes together, and the guys who are a bit more resilient seem to come out on top for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jack McLeod's going to be hoping to continue his undefeated record on Kingdom. I think that's a great fight. I mean, Dorian was really close to winning that fight as well against Billy. I remember it going down to the last round, and there's a few fights on here that we've discussed before about the technicality versus the dog. Like, where does that meet in the middle? Like, how much do you want it? I mean, ultimately, that's what any fight comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Is how much do you want it? So I'm really looking forward to that. El Chapo, Tom Harvey is fighting Alex Carpio for the bantamweight belt. I mean, the praises of Tom Harvey go wide and beyond, right? We even had Wayne Rooney sharing him on his Instagram story today, which I thought was pretty cool.
Nice.
I mean, you're a blue, aren't you?
I'm a blue.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, Tom Harvey, I mean, what a run he's on. He's 9 out of 2. I mean, I want to just leave you to speak about Tom Harvey because you know him more than I do, but he's a fantastic kid. I mean, I think what's so impressive is he's so good on his feet, but again, his jiu-jitsu is what's been speaking for him, right? But we haven't really seen him on his feet like finish guys, but he has got, I mean, I sparred with him a couple of times, and he's just so unique and awkward, and he's just a huge talent.
I think he's got the X factor for me, Tom Harvey. He's one of them guys who's fearless on the day. He's going to turn up. He is well-rounded. He's got really good submission skills. And I think what will hold Tom back from turning pro will not be his skill set, it'll just be his physiologies. He's probably mature and later than some of the other guys in the team. He's absolutely not wrong with that. So to see how well he's doing at the moment is really, it's inspiring anyway. And I think, he's definitely someone who's going to go and compete at a very, very top level of the game in the next few years.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like his ability to be able to leave no stone unturned as far as the way that he needs to build, to be able to attain and reach that next level, I think he's definitely got an eye for it. And his work ethic. The guy's always smiling and he's in the gym, he's committed, he's devoted. And being an athlete and a coach, I know he likes to see that, and likes to reciprocate it. Come in, you work hard, you're devoted, you're dedicated, and you get the time, and the effort and the energy. You get that back. And Tom Harvey's a guy that 100%, he hits that every single time.
I mean, I think you used the perfect word to describe him, right? He's the X factor. He comes with a whole package. He's very confident, he's very loud, and his performances kind of speak for itself, right? What do you think is left for him at amateur if he does go on and win this fight? That would mean he's 10-2, 5 championship wins. Do you think the next step is for him to go professional? Would you like him to see?
Like I said before, mate, I just think he's got a little bit more maturing to do physically. Like, everyone's on a different timeline. Some guys get the man strength at 16, 17. Some guys get it at 21. I just think there's so much, I see him becoming more of an athlete at such an, massive rate at the moment that it'd be a shame to go pro too early.
Yeah.
I think you turn guys pro when they're really physically matured, as well as having all the technical and tactical skills as well. He's got them in the bag already, I think. So I just think just keep throwing the hardest fights we can get at him, and as soon as he looks like he's he's filling out and he's finding his full maturity, then it's definitely getting him into the pro ranks then.
Well, I mean, I spoke to him and he said that he thinks Alex is going to be a tough opponent and he's kind of hoping for a tough scrap. So I think we're in for a treat with that one. Romeo Nobrega versus John Johnson is our other title fight for the bantamweight as well. I mean, we've seen Romeo Nobrega look really good in his last few performances. Obviously, one of his main training partners is Diogo Ramos, who, unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen that fight with Tom and Diogo. That it never materialized. Diogo got injured. But, you know, these guys that are out in Madeira, I think it's actually quite impressive the level that they're actually fighting at compared to what they actually have access to in terms of training partners. And, you know, they're always coming over here to fight. You know, they're not afraid. And I think John Johnson has got a good fight. It's a tough fight for him, but this is a tough fight where you kind of find out who you are, right?
Yeah, I'll just go back to what you were saying before about the guys from Madeira or whatever it is, the likes of Nobrega and Diogo Ramos. You know, I've seen their earlier fights and I've seen how much they've sort of improved being on Kingdom so regularly, and I think Nobrega's last fight I was massively impressed with his boxing. I don't doubt for 1 second John Johnson's got the edge on him on the mat. But ultimately, you've got to get a guy down first, haven't you? It starts on the feet, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for John tonight is making sure he's got the gas tank to implement that game plan. It's kind of similar to what I said to Scott, is the skills are there, but, you know, it's all going to come down to have they got the gas to actually go and impose themselves on the night against two really tough Spanish fighters.
I also feel like, to second on with what Dean's saying, it's about the application when they're in there. It's understanding and knowing when to apply pressure, when to back off. These are all the things that are going to work in the favour for the guys that may be, you know, a little bit more clinical over the guys that are there wanting to put a dogfight on them, because the last thing that you want to do is get pulled into that, and then now the person who you are, who's been training for the last 10, 12 weeks ready for this fight, just goes out the window.
I mean, that leads on perfectly to the next fight, the Lukman Tahir versus Hatim Taibi fight, right? It's Lukman's first fight since he lost to Oliver Tero, and Lukman's a very great technical fighter, but he's got a dog on the other side of the cage tonight in Hatim. You know, Hatim, he's known as Hercules. He's had a lot of fights in the last 8 months. He's had 8 fights in 8 months, right? So, that could play against him really with the amount of fights that he's had. Yeah, but he's had 2 fights on King of the Streets. If you're not aware of King of the Streets, it's the craziest no-rules fights that you do on concrete. And he's also had a no-rules bare-knuckle fight on Valhalla. So even if he might not be the most technical, you just know that he's going to come straight at Lukman. Now, that could play perfectly into Lukman's game, right?
I think it does.
But it's also, and what's it like when you're undefeated, right, and you lose that first fight? You know, he's taken a lot of time since that loss to Oliver Tero. You know, has he taken that time off to really just hone in on his skills and just, you know, keep himself to himself? And then how does he shake off those cobwebs when you get into the cage for the first time?
Yeah, so Lukman's a guy, he's a physiotherapist actually. He's got a degree in physiotherapy, so I know he's been trying to get that aspect of his life sort of up and running, so he's got a bit more of a foundation. I think the Tero fight was a bit of a wake-up call for him now. If you want to fight guys like Oliver, you've got to be training like they were, do you know what I mean? So this fight camp's been just more about getting Lukman back in the fold. We appreciate it's a tough fight regardless, but you know, he is a very tough customer, Lukman, and he's got a lot of grit and he's got a lot of will, and he does train hard, so you know, I do favour him tonight. I do think he's going to get the win.
Yeah, like Dean's just turned around and said that it can work for you in your favour or the other opposite. You're in a position where if the dog's going to come out and the dog's going to go, we know we're going to see plenty of openings from that. And it's about how composed Lukman can stay within that time and obviously just establish that pressure whenever he needs to do it and obviously have his way.
The last fight that I think is 100% one of my favourite fights of the night, it's the A-class amateur debut of Shea Williams. I mean, we talk about these young up-and-coming kids throughout the card, but Shea Williams is arguably one of the biggest prospects the UK has.
Again, I will turn around and say this. Shea Williams is the epitome of the evolution of MMA and where we are going with it. You know, they start off and there's no one discipline. It's hitting the mat, and I'm a mixed martial artist. And the guy, again, Dean mentioned about the X Factor, he exudes confidence and a superiority when he goes into any type of exchange. He's always thinking about how he can win the next exchange after that. So again, he's a young up-and-coming talent. He's a fantastic chess player when it comes to being inside the cage. This is going to be a big night for Shea, for sure.
I think for any coach working with a guy like Shea, the real hard part is keeping a guy like that grounded. He's got the world at his feet, but with that comes a lot of pressure. From himself, from all the expectation. You called him one of the brightest prospects in the UK. I think he's one of the brightest prospects in the world. He's arguably the best prospect in the world. They make a strong case for that. And
IMF World Champion speaks for itself, right?
of course it does.
Yeah.
And obviously I get to train with him on the mat every day, and I feel how good he is. And even just in the last 12 months, he's really physically matured. For us, it's about the psychological skills, the mental characteristics, the mental toolbox that we can empower him with, and we're going to do that by testing him early. So he's got a tough fight tonight, Jay, and regardless of how skilled he is, he's still got to get in there and compose himself and deal with all the pressure and perform, and I'm confident he's going to.
Your first A-class fight, you're going to be looking forward to using your hands, right? That's something that he's been speaking about a lot. And I think it could be a phenomenal way to start his...
He's got to take his time tonight. I think the biggest thing that he's got to focus on is keeping it simple. And if he gets a little bit overconfident and he thinks he can end the fight straight away, then I think that's where you might get egg on your face. So he's got to be really disciplined tonight and stick to the basics. As much as he's going to want to come out and make a big statement, that'll happen if he just looks after his P's and Q's.
Yeah, for sure. There's a balance between composure and obviously the IQ that he's going to have, because like Dean said, he's going to have a lot of people getting underneath him to try and rile him up and get him in that place. So he's just got to try and just do his job.
Yeah, do his job.
Will be what it will be,
Amazing, boys. Thank you very much. So many fights. I mean, if you haven't bought your pay-per-view, what are you doing? Make sure you go and buy it on the Kingdom Instagram. All the details are over there. We are in tune for an incredible night of fights at Kingdom Boxpark. Make sure you tune in, and we'll see you soon.
Championship MMA action. We are, of course, ready to get going with our first contest. Please welcome first and making their way to the red corner, Waleed Butt!
Check.
Are we live? Okay. Hello and welcome to Kingdom Combat Championship number 7, live from Boxpark in Liverpool. I have the pleasure of being joined by my two co-commentators, the famous Bret Baker and Danny Hot Chocolate.
Yes.
How are we, boys?
Yes, boys. I'm all right, yeah. All good. Looking forward to a night of fights. Got 16 mega fights on here tonight. Super well matched up again, as you'd expect from Kingdom. Always the best.
First ever event at Boxpark for combat sports as well, so setting new records wherever we go. The first fight of the night, we have Waleed Butt versus Will Gill. Waleed, he's fighting our Strike Kings in Bradford, cornered by the famous Mullen brothers. He's 1-0 in MMA. He's only had a 20-second knockout, and he said to Callum and Tom straight away from his last fight that he wanted to get straight back in there. There's a level, right? We all want finishes, like, you know, a nice early finish is great for the highlight reel, but I think especially when you're first starting out, you really want to prioritize getting those rounds in 2, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, that's where the wealth of knowledge and experience comes from. Getting that time and getting your time spent in the cage, the time when you want to be able to know what you've got the answers to the questions.
Banger of a song.
It's a banger of a song. Gentlemen, can I just quickly say, I don't know about you two, but I'm really excited for tonight. Obviously, my first show here with Kingdom. I'm proud and I'm honoured to be a part of it. But just in resume to what you said about the matchups are everything. That ultimately is what makes the show. That's what makes the environment and puts that energy out in the air. So I'm really excited for tonight, for sure.
Well, that's the thing, bro, isn't it? Like, good fights make for a good night. Everybody's excited. The crowd gets stuck in. The teams, they can sense it in the locker room when the energy's high.
Sure.
They get excited before they walk out. Everybody becomes enthralled in the atmosphere. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. They call it the entertainment business for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
Danny, what do you know about Will Gill? I hear that you've done some rounds with him.
Yeah, so as far as Will Gill goes, obviously I train down in Trident MMA. And I'm down there, I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm been around the guys. They have a really good team and community relationship. And one thing I know about this kid, he's young, he's talented, he's technically, he's got everything that he needs. He's got all the tools to be able to become a very successful, young, prosperous athlete, you know. So I'm excited to see him go out and do his thing tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Empire Combat Pass. We're Kingdom Combat Championship, powered by Flux, pound for pound, and E-Rix, proudly presents a 64-kilogram MMA contest. Our referee in charge is Stefan Junction. Introducing our first fighter, fighting out of the red corner and representing Strike Kings, Waleed Butt! And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the cage and fighting out of the blue corner. Representing Trident Martial Arts, Will Gill!
I think we're in store for a striking fight.
One thing I know about Will, you need to have a little look at his kicks, and that's something that Waleed needs to be aware of straight away. He likes to throw teeps. He's got a lot of ways that he can throw his kicks from different angles, and unusual ones at that.
Here we go, first fight of the night. Straight away into the leg kicks. Oh, nice headshot.
Waleed getting super close as well. He's
Nice knees in the clinch.
not really respecting Will's distance there, is he? He's just getting stuck in straight away. Big hip toss. Will's got the overhook as well there. Is he going to look for a Darce, Anaconda? Oh, Waleed's back to his feet. Good head positioning.
to try and drive heavy with that whizzer and come underneath with the underhook to try and turn him onto the cage.
There we go, right, right on the money. That's it, mate, isn't it?
I'd say normally the first round's a feeling out process.
Oh, lovely left hook from Walid.
I was going to say, Walid carries a lot of power to say how tall he's stood when he fights. He don't really, even though he's a bit stocky, he don't really sit down into his guard too much, but he still generates a lot of power from that position.
Yeah, for sure.
The pace these guys have set for the beginning of the round.
I was just about to say that. Normally you have the feeling out process, but there's been none of that.
Will's done really well to recover from that quick left hook that dropped him quickly.
He has, and that's normally a sign of fitness, you know.
Nice knee. Using his long limbs to his advantage. Sneaking up under the guard of Walid there.
It seems like Walid's strong against the fence, but he can't really do much with it. Will's done really well to get his underhooks, like I said, and just pull out every single time.
And you can see he's trying to upset Will's rhythm right now by trying to, you know, come put a lot of pressure onto him and get him to throw shots he doesn't really necessarily want to throw.
Yeah, he's taking away Will's range as well. He's sort of just constantly crowding him.
Oh, nice
with that comes with risk, right?
Of course. But he's also in a position being the guy with the shorter reach that he needs to be able to try and establish, you know, that good pressure to let Will know that he's there.
He's on that body lock. We've got Will looking for a Kimura grip maybe, seeing if he can turn off the cage with a double wrist lock.
Yeah.
This is nice. There you go. Turn the spool. This is the part of the fight that a lot of people don't understand. It's very tiring, fatiguing, and it shows, you know, it's going to wear you down after time.
Walid's done well to end the round with the takedown.
I think Walid did well to weather the knees as well and shoot for the takedown. Because Will was doing a fantastic job with those knees, but Walid maintained in top position in that front headlock. Great round.
What a start.
Setting the benchmark early, huh?
How long ago was it that Walid had that last fight where he knocks the guy out in 20 seconds?
It wasn't too long ago. I think it was maybe 3 months ago.
3 months.
Yeah.
And my thing is this, anytime as a fighter you do something that you're very good at and you find success in it, there's going to be a big inclination that you're going to be doing that again and again until you get proven otherwise. So, you know, as soon as he doesn't find any success with it, then I can see him going to something else. But for now, yeah, I expect to see that once or twice in a fight.
He's got to make sure he doesn't just fall in love with that left hook, right? Make sure he sets it up.
Yeah, I think the Mullen brothers are now asking for a lot more feints.
Yeah.
Like, I've trained with those guys in the past, and 90% of the time they're feinting. They are, as their team, it's up and down, level change, in and out. I think they want him to maybe set his shots up a little bit more, show some feints, show some fakes.
And let's have it right, you know, you've only got to take a look at the athlete's cornerman to be able to tell what level they're at. And both of them have got great cornermen right now.
Second round.
Will with the body lock now. Beautiful throw. Looking for that Dagestani handcuff. He finds it early. Heavy hits from Will. Straight on the neck.
He needs to take his time.
Exactly, Will's okay here. He just needs to apply pressure in the right places and just make sure he secures the position.
He rushed it, slept off the back.
That's what we didn't want to happen.
Will doing the right thing though, using his hips.
100%, just offset the balance, stay busy.
He's looking for a triangle here. It's the overhook.
Wants to try and get on the side, get to a hip, pick a dominant side and start to work yourself back up.
It's a lot, it can be a lot harder as well in the 3-minute rounds, I guess, for these amateurs to get back to your feet, because if you spend a minute down there, that's a third of the round gone.
And it's an impressionable situation to be in, right?
Interesting that Elite decided to stand up there.
I was just about to say that. It's these little small micro battles that ultimately are gonna, you're gonna win you the situation. You put 2 or 3 together of them in a round and you've won the round. So it's deciding not to rest in them moments, making sure that you capitalize on your position, stand strong, stand steady, fast.
Just over halfway through the second round. Well, he seems very comfortable switching stances when he stood up.
He does. This is the pressure that Will wants right now. Drive him against the cage, keep him there, beat him up a little bit.
Never ending knees from Will.
Exactly.
Nice tight single. Heavy hit.
Lovely the way he scooped up the single.
He's looking for an anaconda here. He's got the head and arm. Sitting through. Rolling. Can he trap the legs?
This is great.
That's Will. That's tight. Nice tight.
There for Will. That is tight. You're right.
But he's just getting a little bit of breathing room there. Will takes mounts, tries to finish his anaconda. Looks like the head's out.
10 seconds left. Big end to the second round for Will Gill.
Whoa.
Fantastic round.
What a way to put a full stop on the round there for Will Gill. Like, I guess, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, the first round could have gone either way, but that round...
Oh, completely obvious that went to Will Gill. I think we could be 1-1 going into the third.
Yeah.
I think the knockdown and the takedown at the end of the first round was enough for Waleed to take that round. But that was night and day for Will Gill. That was the best response you could have after losing a round.
Again, for me, when you have situations, it all depends on who's the dominant one in that situation and how dominant you can be in them small moments. So like I say, in the second round, we've seen a little bit more of that from Will. In the first round, it's anyone's game. It can go either which way. It only takes a punch. Everyone's fresh, everyone's strong. So it's a risky time to be able to get involved and really try to, trade at that time. So, yeah, I'm sure the third round's going to be an interesting one.
Well, another round like that from Will Gill, I think he could finish Waleed. So Waleed needs to come out and put his own stamp on this round.
It's pressure straight away from Waleed. He literally walks into Will. Doesn't even try and slip a shot, he just walks straight into him.
He's a very confident guy, that we can tell.
Yeah. That's the second time, though, Will's landed that liver kick. He landed it in that last round, the beginning of the last round. He landed it at the beginning of this round as well. Like, surely that's going to take its toll.
For sure.
Oh, he's jumped the gilly. Luckily, it's at the start of the round, so if he's going to work to his feet, he's got some time, but he's coming under the hips here, maybe looking for the armbar on the other side or the sweep. There's the armbar.
Nice.
Hips in. It's not quite on the angle yet, but he's tight.
This is close.
He's tight.
Oh, this is close.
Does he try and turn that wrist just a touch?
That's the thing with the armbar, right? It's about micro adjustments. All you've got to do is turn your elbow a tiny inch one way or the other, and it's on.
Oh,
there you go.
Sucked it out.
That's what we're talking about. You just need that micro adjustment.
He was patient.
Good fight, though.
He waited for the right
Really
time
good fight.
and he managed to pull it off.
Really good fight.
Well done, Will Gill.
Great show of respect between both fighters too. That was a great fight.
That was a great fight.
It's a great way to start the night. And you know what, for Waleed, that's his first loss, but a very different fight to his first fight, so there's a lot that he can take away from that performance. But all the credit has to go to Will Gill. I mean, that first round was close, and the second round, he just turned it up many levels and got away with a third round finish. I mean, I did say at the beginning of that third round, if Will fights the way he did in that second round, he's going to finish him, and it's exactly what he did.
And even now, look, listen, you can see how ecstatic Will is with his performance and the fact that he got the finish. That only comes when you've had a whole camp of commitment, devotion, dedication, and hard work. So I'm really happy to see him come away with that performance tonight.
Well, ladies and please a big round of applause for both of our fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 4 seconds of round number 3, your winner via submission and fighting out of the blue corner, Will Gill. Ladies and gentlemen, please a big round of applause for Waleed Butt.
Am I right in thinking we're ready for an international fight now, guys?
Yes, so Cristiano Ornelas making his second fight on Kingdom, his second amateur fight, and he comes all the way from Madeira.
Listen, one thing I know looking at the card here tonight, looking at the competition and the skill set levels that we have, there's definitely going to be a mix-up of some of the fights and some of the winners, some of the losses that are going to be possible matchups in the future, and there'll be fantastic ones out there.
Well, that's the thing, right? Within Kingdom, you create your own little kingdom. You've got all the good fighters, people who are exciting, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next fighters to the cage. Please welcome first, and making their way to the red corner, Cristiano Ornelas.
Making your own kingdom with inside kingdom, you definitely had that one in the locker, didn't you?
No.
We commentated on Cristiano's fight, didn't we, last time, Bret?
Yeah,
And
he's fantastic. Yeah,
he really showed a lot of heart in that fight.
Yeah.
He didn't come away with the win. He got finished in the 3rd round, but he's a really tough guy. You know, he clearly loves the sport. And again, he's mixing in with the likes of Romeo Nobrega, who's fighting for a title later on. Diogo Ramos, one of the best bantamweights in the amateur scene. So he's got some really good guys to be mixing around with in the gym. And the fact that, you know, he's not taking a fight that was more local to him, and he's like, you know what, I want to come back, I want to test myself again in Liverpool against the best of the best. Just shows the type of person he is.
Like you turn around, you say about mental toughness, physical toughness. We put that tenacity alongside a skill set and IQ. You've got a world beater, you know what I'm saying? So we're in a position where it's going to be interesting to see how this guy comes out tonight and the way he tries to showcase his skills and let us know who he is.
I mean, we even have Romeo Nobrega in the corner here when he's fighting later on, so that just shows like the dedication that those guys have for their teammates.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the blue corner,
Liam Merdith from Four Corners, yeah?
The one thing that I can say about Four Corners is I lived in the gym for 6 months, and you don't get a single easy round in that gym. I mean, of course, no gym has easy rounds, right? But there's just something different about Four Corners. It's just dog rounds every single time, and it is the perfect breeding ground for young fighters to really find out whether you want to be a fighter or not.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. John Gilly's in the team down there doing fantastic things, and it speaks levels, because you know they say you become like the 5 people that you're around the most, and you look at the synergy that they have down in the gym, and they are producing great level athletes.
And that's the thing, right? You chuck somebody in a room, you rise to the average or you fall to the average. So when the average is high, you're going to rise. Regardless, you want to be in a room like that. You don't want to be in a room where you're above the average, because you'll drop to the average. That's why you've got to be somewhere that's going to challenge you. And if you're a young fighter, you want to go into these fights knowing that you train with guys that are going to put so much pressure on you in the training room that when you get in there, you're ready for whatever situation's thrown at you, right?
For sure. Yeah. Again, like you say, it just reinforces the belief system and the confidence going into the fight, knowing that you're coming in. Every single one of us that come into the cage, we're coming in for one reason only, and that's to win. So if we're surrounded by greatness, if we're surrounded by winners, then we come to a place where we're fulfilled with knowing that we're going to be winners as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kingdom Combat Championship, powered by Flux, Pound for Pound and E-Rix, proudly presents 3 3-minute rounds of featherweight action. Our referee in charge is Dan Overheady. Introducing our first fighter, fighting out of the red corner, and representing MMA Knuckleheads, Cristiano Ornelas. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, representing Four Corners, Merdith.
Liam looks fired up, ready to go. He's got that look in his eyes, right? Southpaw versus southpaw, wow.
I love that.
Oh, solid jabs.
This normally makes for an ugly fight when you get southpaw versus southpaw, because it's just hard to find that, that range and the pressure. But then also you got a blind side. That lead hand is you got the hooks and the check hooks coming from a side which you're not really aware or used to seeing. So,
Nice counter from Cristiano.
I'm already liking Liam's style here.
He's got good distance management, right?
Yeah.
He's already making Cristiano's face look red.
Cristiano with a nice strong backhand.
Oh, these boys are swinging.
The thing with Cristiano is really compact as well, so when he throws,
Beautiful calf kick.
Well, already he's
Gets a lot
already in
of
the round,
pounds.
but one thing I can tell by Cristiano is when he throws, he's making sure that he's landing. He's being calculated with them shots.
One of these boys.
yeah. Oh, it's that hook you're talking about, Danny.
Yeah, 100%. That lead hook, you just don't see it coming.
That calf kick's really paying dividends for Liam.
Liam's got lovely range. I would like to see him do a couple more feints on the outside just to keep Cristiano second guessing about what's coming. Nice body shot.
Oh, he's tagging him. Cristiano staying in there.
Liam with that
Beautiful. Liam's going to work here.
left hand over the top, starting the combination, right? I suppose it's going to throw Cristiano off a little bit. It's probably expecting a jab to start the combination.
Oh, these knees are big. Oh,
They're sneaking in
this
there.
could be the beginning of the end.
He smelled,
Beautiful. Oh,
smelled
what a
blood.
finish.
Good stoppage there from the referee. He'd seen enough.
What a performance by Liam. I mean, those knees in the clinch really set the tone to the beginning of the end, didn't it?
Again, a lovely variety of shots from the offset. The guy knows what he's doing, knows what he wants, and he's on a mission to get it. So, yeah, man, I'm very impressed with Liam Merdith's performance there.
Cristiano had some nice moments.
But that's the thing, I don't want to take away from
Yeah.
what it was that he was doing, His offensive display. Because it was something that was there to be witnessed. I think Liam just had a little bit more and higher output, which again, he capitalized on it at the times when he needed to, and that's what mattered most.
I think as well, when you're throwing with that, it's such intensity, it's who lands first, right?
Of
Who
course.
gets the big shot first, and then you can capitalise on it.
Because let's have it right, you couldn't do that for 3 rounds.
No way. I don't think the intention was to do it for 3 rounds
No.
from either man, yeah.
Quick one, they want to get home, huh?
Yeah.
Cristiano should keep his head up.
For sure.
He went in there with a tough guy, and ultimately it's the fight game, right? It's
Anything can happen.
it's the cruelest game. It's not a fair business, but at the end of the day, someone's hand has to be raised.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for both of our fighters? Our referee Dan Overheady has called a halt to this contest after 1 minute and 51 seconds of round number 1. Declaring your winner by TKO, fighting out of the blue corner, Merdith.
What a phenomenal performance by Liam. He just hunted him down, didn't he?
Yeah,
Didn't let get a breather.
for sure. I feel like that's really just set the bar also for what's to be expected from the athletes coming out here tonight.
2 banger fights straight out of the way.
We're just getting warmed up.
Just getting warmed up, mate. This is just the beginning.
Making me a happy chappy right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next fighters to the cage. Please welcome first and making their way to the red corner, Jack Fletcher!
Jack Fletcher fighting out of Urban Kings. His 3rd amateur fight. His only win has come via rear naked choke, which I believe is the most common submission in MMA, right?
Yeah.
Rear naked?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's
And
the ultimate,
the one thing I know about Jack Fletcher, he likes to come to fight also. Oh, and what a walkout tune, I'll take that.
Okay.
What a walkout tune, I'll take that.
I feel like every time me and Jim commentate, it's always just like appreciating the walkout.
Yeah.
A Spotify hit list, right?
I mean, when we're commentating, if we don't say anything about your walkout tune, it's probably not very good. We don't say mean things about it, we just don't comment on it.
No.
Yes.
Sure. What was your walkout tune?
I've had multiple different ones. Again, for me, it's about what makes you feel alive in that moment. And if it really resonates with you, it makes you feel like you're ready for war, prepared for battle, but also in a nice little neutral place where it's not too.
Yeah, you need something that's also like keeping you level, right? Yeah.
Just that right amount.
Yeah.
Even walked in like 50 Cent.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the blue corner, David Tanios!
David Tanios. Now let me tell you something about this guy. It was only a couple of weeks ago. I must have been in Trident, and we're there. We're wrestling. We're doing, the king of the match. The last man, winner stays on. And this guy's come from a judo background. We know he's very strong. But when it comes to strength, when it comes to weights, this guy's sitting about 2 weight categories above where he is now with the strength that he's got. I'm a welterweight, and I find it hard to be able to even tussle with the guy. He's pushing me off. He's having the better of me at times. And he knows what he's doing. Whenever he comes to the clinch, I think his opponent Jack needs to be very aware not to try and off-put his balance anywhere that he shouldn't, because otherwise he's going to get exposed. And if that happens, it could be a nightmare.
Looking smart there, lads.
Right, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this is his 2nd fight, right? He last fought on Kingdom and he finished Cristiano in the 3rd round, and he dug it out with a great performance. So I feel like once you've hit that first fight and it's got out of the way, especially you've got to go with a win. It's all about that being free flowing now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of that pressure's off.
See, I'll give it to him. This is a good one.
I was literally about to say
This is resonating with me. But again,
Ladies and gentlemen, Kingdom Combat Championship, powered by Flux Activewear, Eric's and Pound for Pound, proudly presents 3-minute rounds of lightweight MMA action. Our referee in charge, Dan Mulverheady. Introducing our first fighter, fighting out of the red corner and representing Aspire, Jack Fletcher! And please welcome fighting out of the blue corner and representing Trident Martial Arts, David Tanios!
I think this one's going to be a surprisingly good fight also, evenly matched. Again, one of them 50-50 matchups that you can make. It's something that's going to be a sure set for entertainment.
And that's exactly what you want, right? You want 50-50 matchups.
That's what people come here to see, innit? They want to get entertained.
A 50-50 matchup usually tells a story, right? You can get involved.
Oh, lovely left hook from David.
And again, we're going to see real tests.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Oh! It's been stopped.
Oh my God.
What a head kick
Came
by
out of
Jack
nowhere.
Fletcher.
Came out of nowhere.
I mean, I jinxed it. I'm like, the 50-50 tells a story.
Right?
shot. Wow.
Wow.
Looks like David Tanios is okay though. He's clearly not injured. Referee
It might have been a bit of an early stoppage personally, but I can also understand that, right? He was rocked. But what a fantastic couple of exchanges Jack Fletcher had. I mean, you can only take what he did, and he landed some beautiful strikes.
Yeah, listen, we talk about that first round being that round where it's anyone's fight, right? I'm also in a position where in the first 30 seconds, if something gets thrown and you get caught off guard, it is a good night. There is no coming back from that. Now, in any other situation, we could turn around and say that was an early stoppage. I don't think it was. I think it's fairly played. He did recover from it very fast though, and he was trying to scramble back to his feet, trying to establish some sort of, presence and awareness. So, I feel a little bit down for Tanios right now. But again, stand to the rest.
I understand the referee's point of view, because obviously this is still amateur, right? So there's no need to see a kid go to sleep.
No.
So I do understand that point of view for sure. But like you said, Tanios did recover quickly, but ultimately you can't take anything away from Jack Fletcher's performance. That was great.
And again, if it was a title fight, maybe it went on a little bit longer.
Yeah,
we don't know.
That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for both of our fighters?
Yeah, it's still a bit loud to be honest.
This is the young winner by KO after 13 seconds of round number 1, and fighting out of the red corner, Jack Fletcher!
I'd like to watch that back, right? See the setup.
Yeah, for sure.
And that marks the end of our three fights on YouTube. We are now heading over to the pay-per-view. If you haven't bought your pay-per-view already, make sure you tune in. Go to the Kingdom Instagram page. Cop the pay-per-view. Ultimately, it's a short price to pay, which supports the fighters, and the support shows that this to make platforms for the fighters be able to, show off who they are. So it all supports the fighters. We're heading over to the pay-per-view. Make sure you switch over now, and we'll see you soon.
Let's not say this as an up-and-coming amateur or a professional on the first few fights. This is the kind of platform that you want to be doing your thing on. The exposure that you're getting nationally at the moment on something like this